Yellowstone was the 2023 nominee for Best Drama Series in the Critics' Choice Awards, and people can't get enough of this show.
Yellowstone.
You bottle it up and sell it.
I don't think there's anyone to sell it to, Dad. Anyone who knows what it's worth is already doing it.
All the characters are made perfectly, from the charismatic patriarch John to the tough and deadly Beth, who always gets sweet and lovely when facing the heartthrob Rip Wheeler. We love them all. But whoa, Nelly, what if I tell you that they are not the heart of the show? Well, Yellowstone is not Yellowstone without the ranch. That's why if you are fascinated every time you see the jaw-dropping landscape of Montana, you are watching the perfect video right now. Because we are going to take a wild ride to the real Yellowstone Ranch. We will talk about the locations where Yellowstone's episodes are filmed, the mystery behind the history, and how you can live in the Dutton Ranch like our favorite characters. We gathered all the exclusive details about it, and I know that you don't want to miss this, so keep watching everything we know about the Yellowstone Ranch in real life.
We run the ranch as a guest ranch from June through August, and we have horses and cows, and we sell hay, and we do all the things that a ranch does.
The filming location is Yellowstone. First, let's set the scene. Vast open plains, cattle grazing, and the rugged charm of Montana. That's what Yellowstone promises, right? It paints a picture of a hard-working cattle ranch deep in Montana's land. But while Montana's the setting, most of the show's film happens elsewhere. So, if your eyes always pop out every time you see the wonderful landscape of the show and question yourself, is that really in Montana? I hope that I can see your face making a shocked reaction because the state of Utah is the place behind those many jaw-dropping scenes. In fact, the Salt Lake Tribune said that a whopping 70 to 75% of the first 3 seasons were filmed across Utah. Now, remember those iconic scenes from places like Park City, Ogden, and Spanish Fork? Well, they were all filmed in Utah. Marshall Moore, the person over at Utah Film Studios, once told Desert News that Yellowstone was the largest show that has ever come to the state of Utah. And while Utah captured our hearts with its scenery, let's remember some key moments from the show. Think about the intense moments at the fictional Broken Rock Indian Reservation. These scenes were filmed at the very real Crow Indian Reservation in southern Montana. To give you some perspective on the wideness of this western tale, if you were going to drive from this reservation to the show's ranch, you'd be riding on the open road for a whole 7 hours. Yes, that's like binge-watching almost an entire Season 3 of Yellowstone. So, now that you're done watching it, for Season 4 and 5, Yellowstone production moved to Montana. Why? Well, the Salt Lake Tribune said that the decision to stop the filming in Utah was financial because of the state's tax. Well, it sounds like Utah's loss is Montana's gain. And because of this, the show is diving deep into real Montana vibes. And of course, this Yellowstone move out is great for the cowboys of Montana. They are enjoying the ride with their local businesses. Those cafes, shops, and B&Bs are buzzing with more customers than ever. Not just because there's a major show filming nearby, but because tourists are flocking in, eager to see where the Yellowstone is filming. Also, the lucky folks living there are getting front row seats to the action, glimpsing behind-the-scenes peeks at the making of Yellowstone. It's like living in a real-life movie set every day. Is the Dutton Ranch real? Well, the answer is yes, but also no, because the Dutton Ranch from your favorite show is actually called the Chief Joseph Ranch. Settled in the town of Darby, it's a huge 5,000-square-foot log mansion. And according to Parade, the stretched 2,500 acres traces its roots back to 1880. Settlers named it in honor of Chief Joseph, the leader of the Wallowa band of the Nez Perce tribe. Then, in 1914, William S. Ford, the glass tycoon, bought the ranch, and it eventually found its way into the ranchers Shane and Abigail Leibel. In an interview with legendary Kevin Costner, he described the Bitterroot Valley, where Darby is located, as historical. And he shared that when the show started, Chief Joseph Ranch hadn't been discovered yet. The Yellowstone star felt like they lucked out with the filming spot. Furthermore, in a short behind-the-scenes interview, Leibel himself gets honest about keeping the ranch authentic to its original atmosphere while keeping it modern for their guests. He said, "I can make a list a mile long of things we've improved, but we have a responsibility. I mean, we live here. We own this. But we really don't own it because we're just here until the next person that we hand it off to comes along." And hey, cowboy, have you ever noticed how the mansion in the show feels like it's alive? Well, the set director of Yellowstone, Carla Curry, said,
This lodge was built from 1914 to 1917. All of the original logs and stones that are used in this property are from the property itself.
You see, the mansion isn't just a location. It's like a cast member. In fact, most of the stuff you see in the mansion was there long before Yellowstone began filming. Like the lights. It is originally Tiffany lights from way early 1900. She adds,
These are things that are intrinsically correct for this period of time.
the production leaves the furniture year-round for Libel's family to continue using. And speaking of using, did you know that Yellowstone Production signed a deal to use the ranch for 5 seasons? Yes, that's right, cowboy. And for more than a century-year-old, Chief Joseph Ranch and the Libels aren't just hosting a TV show, they're maintaining a piece of history. And if you're a huge cowboy fan of Yellowstone, you don't want to miss the next beans that I'm gonna spill because you can stay overnight inside the Dutton Ranch. Yep, that iconic Yellowstone ranch has 2 cabins just waiting for you to kick back in. The Libel family totally embraced the Yellowstone fame, keeping that big ol' Yellowstone Dutton Ranch sign shining bright for everyone to see. And those cabins I mentioned? During off-filming seasons, they're up for grabs. Fancy a stay in a room where the Duttons once hung their hats? You got it. Now, let's talk names because these cabins have undergone a makeover. If you check out the ranch's official website, you'll spot 2 cabin names, the Lee Dutton and Rip Wheeler cabins. That's right, some of our favorite characters are calling this place home sweet home. And by the way, do you have $1,400 in your pocket? If so, you can spend a night in Lee Dutton's cabin, together with your 3 friends or family and call it your home sweet home. And in case you decide to bring the whole gang, no worries, because with just an extra charge, up to 8 people can sleep there. On the other hand, Rip's cabin is yours for $1,700 a night for 4 guests, but it can also handle 8 packs if you're bringing the whole crew. These cabins are loaded with full kitchens, grills, and even laundry setups. So, the next time you are daydreaming about living the ranch life, remember, you're just a booking away from making that dream come true. And come on, let's be real. All the locations of Yellowstone are the perfect fit for the show, and fans all over the globe can't help but take notice. Like this comment, "You could have not asked for a more perfect set to film. Will go down in history as one of the most amazing places to be filmed at." And this person praises the Libel family for taking care of the ranch, saying, "As someone whose heart and soul are in Montana, I'm so happy it's a ranching family that owns this property. They love and respect this ranch and the history that comes with it. It is a blessing that they share it." A visitor in Montana also praises the series. "I was just in Montana visiting. We tried so hard to get to Darby. This is the best series I have ever seen. The beauty, the different environment, and finally, not a show that slams every diversity into every episode. Totally real. It is amazing to share your home with us. Thank you. The filming, the environment, the home, amazing." Yeah, that's amazing. But what I'm going to spill next is shocking, because it's all about the latest and newest update for Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2. I know that you don't want to miss this, so stay on your horses, click this video right here, and let's continue our ride to uncover all the exclusive updates about the last batch episodes of our beloved show.